low and not super exciting just because I don't want to get the heart rate up. Just stay calm and get excited when it's ready to get excited, I guess.
All right. A few weeks ago, we had North Mahaska volleyball on here, and those girls, their pre-game routine, or maybe it was post-game. I can't remember. It was Cotton Eye Joe. You guys don't do any dances or anything like that, do you?
No.
Dang it. One of these days, we're going to get somebody to do something. Coach, you got a song? You got to have something here.
When I'm running, I say it's a lot of rock.
A lot of
tune everything out.
Yeah. I can't get one single song out of all four of these, Steve. What was your jam when you were running these half marathons?
Well, obviously, like Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Steve's watching Rocky,
Yeah,
getting ready
heck
for
yeah.
this run. Heck yeah. All right.
I go down the streets of Sigourney in my boxing pose.
Yeah. You've lived a Shetler life, right?
They're going to build a statue one of these days.
I hope so. All right, good. What are the goals for the rest of the season?
I think all three of our goals are definitely to qualify for state, place high in our conference, and on Monday we have a meet at Hillcrest, and then Thursday we have a meet at Montezuma, and then the next Tuesday is our conference meet at Montezuma again, and then we're not sure where districts are yet. So yeah.
Sounds like a busy schedule coming up. All right, Ellie, same goal?
Definitely, yeah. Just to finish the season strong.
Yep, finish strong. And Troy Klett's going to be a state champion, right?
I agree with the other two. If we can make the state, then I think we've done pretty well for the season.
All right. Coach, have they prepared themselves to do this?
Yeah, I think depending on how we're going to get to the point where we try to peak and get best times towards the end of the season, so that way we're as healthy and as fast as we can be, and honestly where we're at and where we've been placing with other teams and other individuals. I think we're going to be really close, and I think we really got a good shot. So I'm excited if we show up, everything just clicks and we just go for it, and we run our race, and I think we got a very, very good chance. So
awesome. Well, best of luck to all four of you. Thanks for chatting with us on cross country, and we'll be rooting for you all the way through.
And before you get out of here, everybody lean in a little bit. Group photo live on camera here. 3, 2, and one of those should be good. We'll do what we can with Andy McGuire. Hey, guys, that's we thank Sigourney Cross Country for coming in today and being guests here on the sports section. As we transition next into Coach Jensen, we'll take a look at our Keokuk County Hospital and Clinic's Athlete of the Week, as voted on by our folks and our viewers here on Steve Shetler Media. We've got Albia Boys Cross Country. Brendan Lahart was voted our Athlete of the Week. So cross country getting some love on our Athlete of the Week. Voting again, Brendan from Albia Boys Cross Country. On our Team of the Week, look at this. 2 weeks in a row, Sigourney Keota Football voted our Team of the Week for Kelly Styles State Farm. So that's a first. So congratulations to the SK Cobras. 2 weeks in a row, our Kelly Styles State Farm Area Team of the Week here on Steve Shetler Media. Speaking of which, let me adjust my camera once again as we welcome in. It must be that time of the morning. You were in last week at this time, Coach, and the sun was shining and reflecting off of the floor, making you look like an angel from above. We've got Coach Jensen in with Andy McGuire. That sun is shining again, Andy. Take it away.
Well, I'd take some of that sunshine coming this way. I need all the help I can get. Major district implications last night, Coach. You were able to double up Pella Christian at Pella Christian 42-21. What were the keys to success last night?
I thought we came out right away and kind of sent a message defensively, got after them. They won the toss and took the ball, and when that happens, you've got to send a message with your defense, and I think we did that. We forced them into a punt, which I can't recall there wasn't a whole lot of punting going on, that night. I think everybody knew each possession was going to be crucial, and we went forward on a couple fourth downs. They went on it. put a drive together, got it in the end zone, and a couple kids said, I knew once we scored first we were gonna win this thing, and that's a great mentality to have. I mean, knowing that you got the first points on the board, knowing what our defense can do, feeling like, okay, we're gonna win this thing is huge. And I just thought we came out with some excitement. We knew it was going to be a big game, their 20th anniversary of their program, a lot of alumni back, former players, former coaches, and again, we talked about their record last week and the challenge, and just proud of how we played defensively the first half. I know we gave up a couple passes over the top there in the second quarter to score, but you take those away, we get a little more pressure on the quarterback. Maybe those don't happen. We're in a little better, position on coverage. Those don't happen. Second quarter, we kind of gave up a little bit, but offensively, we still kept trucking. We put up 3 scores in the second quarter. So, that first half we felt good, but I think there was still just that little bit in their mind that we shouldn't have gave up those 2 touchdowns, and honestly, we shouldn't have. We should have made them work for it, and they didn't really have to work for those. But half, I think Pella Christian played a pretty darn good second half. But we just limited them to that 1 touchdown in the fourth quarter, and it just felt good. The two games that we knew were going to be the 2 games. We got to that point healthy. We finished those games, won those games. But we battled a lot of adversity last night. We had, we've got our 3 backs that kind of rotate between wing and tail. All of them were dinged up at one point in time, having issues. We're throwing Carson O'Rourke in there, and he did a good job for filling in. And he had a shoulder issue, so we were kind of on the struggle bus there with just trying to find the right fitting of people offensively and defensively, because the 3 backs are all 4 of those guys. They're all on defense as well, so it was just kind of a mix and match and kind of putting guys in positions that they don't typically play. And Pella Christian kind of took advantage of that a little bit, but we'll get that shirt up, and I'm just proud of our guys. Absolutely proud.
Yeah, I thought it was a really strange night last night altogether. We did the curtain raiser at 4:30 conversion to tie that thing up, and I'm watching Pella Christian come off like they won the thing, and I'm thinking to myself,
game ain't over.
This game is not over.
I know.
So
I know.
And then we do this whole 20-year anniversary thing, and I think my wife Erin was taking shots of Mountain Dew every time they said alumni. And she didn't sleep last night, one iota.
Yep.
She was like open,
Yep.
And I'm thinking, it had the same feel about the Mid Prairie homecoming to me, that you would schedule a 20th anniversary party on a team that you've lost to 7 of 10 times and have lost 5 in a row. It just felt odd to me. Coach, can you talk about just the feel of the game last night and some of those things?
Yeah, well, just even going back to the fresh soft game, 4:45 start. They told us that they're cutting it off at 6 because I'd asked, we're going 7:30 varsity start, and nope, just a hard cut at 6, and it's like, okay, and to go score, and we've got some momentum brewing, and then go for the 2. So, felt bad for those guys just not being able to get that fourth quarter. What's another 10 minutes, and give those guys the opportunity to go play.
Yeah, and to cut in, they didn't do anything in that time. We basically stood around for an hour until we started.
Game wasn't over, man, and they felt like they took a loss, but I through 3 quarters we were down 2. Could we have been in a better or different situation? Yeah. Would we felt better had we been on top? Yeah, but you still just football's a 4-quarter game, so going to the pregame. They did that a couple years ago, and I think it was kind of an intimidation thing, and then they had some big dudes and muscular dudes, and but it's all a show, You're making things about you rather than the team. We're going to go out dressed. We're going to look like a team. We're going to look the part, and we're really worried about what they're doing. But I think that little intimidation thing. But we definitely weren't intimidated, and I think it fuels a little bit of the fire under our guy. I would agree.
At halftime, we were warmed up. We did our thing like we always do on the end zone, talk to the team, bring them back. We're ready to go. I mean, we had our kick team ready to rock and roll. And Pella Christian's not even out of the locker room yet. And I saw you go to the officials like, hey, where are we at? What are we doing here? They put more time on the clock.
Yep.
And from what I can gather, they must have been willing to take that delay a game penalty on the kick. And then intentionally did the onside thing.
Yeah, Well, when we came out of the bathroom, and at that point there was about 2 minutes left, and I still hadn't seen them out, which I'm like, well, they got to be coming out soon. I came back out, they still weren't there. Once they saw them coming out of the locker room, I think there was a minute 12 left. I said, can they add 3 more minutes? They've already added the 3, and no, they haven't. So I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure they have. You might want to check. So their white hat came over and said, hey, I hate to do it, but they're going to have a penalty, not being out on the field on time and whatnot. So obviously, great. We'll take the penalty. And then they went for that onside, and we'd seen it. They hadn't, they just kind of get in a big huddle, and then they went. Earlier on, we tried to fit those front line guys a little closer just in case they did that. I don't think coming out of half we were really focused necessarily on that, and I think it caught us all by surprise.
As a fan, I'm watching this whole thing, and the only thing I can think, and this might not be fair, but I just felt like they felt that they were outmatched, and they're trying to pull some tricks. They did that fake punt in the first half. Like, boy, that's a sign of not having a ton of confidence. And we're average fans. I mean, we're not football professionals by any stretch of the imagination, but we were really questioning that. And I know you have the most respect for Coach Cack and what he does over there, so I don't want to spend too much time talking about these specific things. Right. But it was just one of those nights that it was just a head-scratcher at times for us in watching the game. And I know you feel kind of the same way about some of these things. Getting back to the game, Isaac Bruns, again, rushes 230 plus. Yeah. I think, what do you have, 3 touchdowns plus a receiving touchdown to take him to 4 multi-purpose touchdowns. Huge night last night. And to be honest with you, I don't think he was feeling his best either, was he?
No, he's dealing with I didn't really know anything about it. He kind of keeps to himself about things that aren't going well with his body, and I just trust that he's ready to go when he's ready to go, and you could tell out there was times he was kind of didn't want to show it, but you could see it a little bit. And he finally come off one time, and I'm like, what's going on? So I don't know if he has some turf toe going on or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on that, but he was having some issues there. But I just keep grinding it out, and I think 32 touches on the night, I think, is what he ended up with. So, he just knows, I might not feel the greatest, but, me not at full tilt is still a really, really talented player. And, I think our guys just kind of battle through that stuff. I mean, Ike's ankle, I thought no way after watching him kind of come off he was going to be able to go back in and play, and he sat some of the second quarter and then tried to warm it up at halftime and just said, I'm going. So just the toughness in our guys, and Brady had a little knee issue there just for a short stint. I don't know what exactly it was, but he kind of battled through it and went back out, and it just one thing, Ike said, I said, are you sure you can go? He said, Coach, I can go. If I know I'm a detriment to the team, I'll come back out. So and that's what you want to hear as a coach. If you can go. But if you're going to start being a detriment, to what we're trying to accomplish, at least you're willing to say, hey, I got to get out. And that's kind of what we put our guys through, all this stress and force their bodies into tough situations for those type of things. When you're not feeling the greatest, when you're injured, or you're still willing to block that out mentally and keep going. And I think that just shows signs of a champion individually.
Yeah, you were pretty short at corner last night anyhow. I know Aiden Galindo didn't make the trek. Isaac wasn't 100%. That high ankle sprain on Ike set you back a little bit. I saw you moved Brady over, and we're running him there too. And those were the big plays that you gave up, you know. And it's not a detriment to those guys because they were playing football, and sometimes those things happen. But I saw Landon Conrad check in last night, and I think he's been playing great football. His body has changed significantly from freshman to sophomore year. Can you talk briefly about the job that Landon did last night?
I thought he stepped in and filled in well. You know, we did move and you know Brady gets reps at corner. You know, but doesn't have a ton of experience there, and you know, coverage wise, a lot of it, if it's the man side, it's still, you know, similar to what he does at strong safety, but you know, asking him to do a few different things there when we're on our cover or our 5 side, and you know, just got caught getting turned rather than just staying right in the hip pocket of the guy. Had, you know, for the most part, had good spacing. You know, inside leverage, and then just got his body spun around rather than just staying right in his hip, and gave up that first one. And you know, I showed him on film and I talked to him about it, and I think he felt down, but you know, Coach McCauley, I think said it perfectly, like at halftime. You know, guys, yes, the ball was caught on Brady, but if we get pressure on him up front, okay, those passes aren't there. They're not going to be there, and it's a team thing. When one guy gets beat, okay, maybe they were out of position, okay, but what else could we have done to not put them in that position to be able to get that ball off? And you know, the guys just realized, you know, hey, it's on all of us, you know, and that's the beauty of our kids. They think as a team rather than individually, and you know, it's something that I think across the board we can learn from. You know, but I think Landon stepped in and did as good a job as he absolutely could have. I know he had the one pass interference, but that probably saved a touchdown as well. So, you know, when they throw it 40 yards and they only get 15 out of it because of the penalty, you can kind of live with that. And you know, just guys stepping up, and that's why you coach depth. I mean, that's why you've got to coach everybody on your team, and I think that we do a good job of that. It's not, okay, here's our best guys, we're going to coach them and just let everybody else do. We want to coach everybody up because, like last night, 4 guys, 4 starters, down, injured, whatever. Next body's in, moving some guys around. You know, you've got to have that depth, especially going into the playoffs, because you never know at the end of the season who's going to be healthy, who's not. And if you haven't prepared guys prior to that, you know, it's going to be tough sledding.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I thought Landon did an excellent job last night being thrown into that spot there. But like you say, he's got the physical attributes you need to play corner. He's got a little more size than some of those guys do. And yeah, he got torched on a couple of them. But at the end of the day, he's going to be better because of it. Yep. We got the win, and that's growth. I was talking to Coach Weber about that early. You know, they had a big win against Highland last night. We were talking a couple of those opportunities coming up. So I'll be interested to see how these next 2 shake out. Last night, I thought Braden Wood took a step forward. He threw a really nice ball over the top. I think it was to Isaac, and then threw a nice pass over the middle and made some connections there. Not perfect game for Braden just yet, but you can see the growth coming that way. We talked about it last week. Do you feel like you've seen good growth in that passing game?
Yeah, you know, we spent some time this week, and we just addressed the, you know, and ultimately as a quarterback, you want to throw it to the wide open guy. But teams that are good, there's not going to be anybody wide open. You've got to read it. You got to see it quick. If they're even, they're leaving, or if they're even, you just got to throw them open. And so we spent a little more time of, you know, not deep balls are great. Went up and you see instantly that we're going to be behind the back end. But if they're dropping hard, you know, like Pleasantville was, they were not going to give up the deep ball. There's the window in between the linebackers and those guys dropping deep. So we worked on that this week of finding that window and just piping it to them rather than trying to air it up over the top. And, you know, I thought all our quarterbacks, and we did it with all of them, you know, helped them understand, like, okay, it's not about throwing the deep ball. It's just about throwing it when they are going to be open. Maybe that's before they get to those defenders. Maybe that's if they're even. Now, but he had to go in and play defense. Jacob went in on offense. You know, Carson had to come out some on defense. put Jacob back in on defense. At that point in time, we kind of had the back end figured out, so we kind of threw Woody back on offense. But I think that's something we're able to do, and I've got confidence in both guys. And we just got to continue to progress. I think splitting Isaac out was the right move there. Just kind of widening things out. Whether it was and we've got that. All right, that corner's an extra guy in the box. Let's just get him out of the way, and we can still run what we need to run up front. And but I think we're making progress. I don't know. We threw the ball probably 6 times, I think. 3 for 6 and a touchdown. I don't know what it was, 80, 90 yards, something like that. So, that's what we've wanted to see. Now we just need to take a few more chances, and we called a few more passes, but. Some of our boot stuff, I just tell the quarterbacks, it's a run pass option, right? You're booting out there. If you don't see anybody out there, why throw the edge and no defender to be seen? So just keep it and go. But we're gonna have to make it look easy with as many deep balls as we got. But it just hasn't been that this year. I think teams are understanding. Okay, hey, we need to load the box, but our back end has got to play deep and not give up those just dagger shots.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned the stat 3 for 6. You're coaching him. I saw him throw it at the feet, and you were immediately on it. And Braden, I could tell he was frustrated by it, and I could see from his helmet, just seeing his eyes, it was like, gosh, I should have tucked and ran with that. So it's rewarding, I think, from a fan standpoint, to see that process going on, where you see that growth going on. Yep. You're talking about Jacob Leib and Braden Wood. I've gotten the sense that this is kind of like a Cade Molnax.
I think they do things a little differently, but and it's a competition. But here's the beauty of it: both those guys respect each other. Both kids are like super coachable, and there was kind of just that battle. All right, hey, we'll go with Woody on O, and Jacob can focus on D, and things just didn't quite work out that way. But I think Jacob's kind of that kid. We've asked him to do a ton of things. He plays our outside backer. He's been thrown in and played inside backer. Stepping in and playing spin when we need him. So a big special teams guy for us. And it's a competition, but it doesn't feel like that. I think both. I think going forward. I would say if you're in a passing situation or a passing team, maybe you just want to stick with one guy, but I think we've got the ability to play both and do some different things and just give defenses different looks, another guy to have to prepare for, so we're just going to kind of, whether it's who has the hot hand or, okay, hey, this guy's got to go play some D, we're going to put you in here or whatever the case may be, opportunity. Okay, if Braden's in, Jacob's chomping at the bit to get his opportunity. When Jacob's in, Braden's on the side, and both of them are cheering each other on. But Braden's like, okay, I got to step up and I got to do a little more. So I think that friendly competition, I think, is breeding a little more success with the two, and I can see us using both of them more often than we have, earlier in the season.
Yeah, I've been watching that as the season has gone on. I haven't talked to Jacob about this, but just knowing how competitive he is, and almost any kid on that team, that there'd be some frustration there with the way that has panned out. But I think he's responded as good as you could respond to that. I thought last night Jacob had a monster night. It started on special teams. He flew
first
in and
tackle.
popped. The first tackle popped
Yep.
the kid hard, and then he got in on defense and was busting through, getting through that, and then he ran hard. So, that is a sign of a quality student athlete when they respond to that way to adversity. It's going to do nothing but make your team better. And I see it in Braden as well. He knows that he's got somebody on his heels if that's what it is, and need to stay with it. So that's the trick of coaching, right?
Yeah, and that's the toughest thing is you've got two equal guys, and what do you do? And I just feel like there's certain qualities that I see out of Braden that early on I'm like, okay, that's got to be the guy right now. And I think just the fact that Jacob has taken it, and whether he liked it or not, understood this is the situation. All I can do is focus on getting myself better, and just having that having that depth, having 2 guys we can throw in is definitely huge, because ultimately one has to go down or one has to be out or whatever. You're not just second guessing yourself like, all right, here we go. You got another guy in there that's really, really ready and willing and able to go out and do what's best for the team. And it's just a tough situation across the board. And I think, you look at it, I think early in my coaching career, we were relying on a lot of sophomores. There was times we were relying on a few freshmen that were maybe above their freshman grade to do things varsity-wise. And realistically anymore, we kind of trend to just keep those freshmen and sophomores together, build that unity amongst those guys, and then the juniors and seniors. And now there are some sophomores that are kind of moving towards that varsity group, but just putting in the time. You might not always get the reps you want or the game time you want, but kind of segregating those. And now we do all our individual stuff together. When we're individual offense, NDD, we're all together. We're all grades positionally, but when we go team, we're able to split and but you get to see those bodies, and there's there might be some younger guys we feel like, okay, hey, they can step up, and we had we felt like, okay, we saw a little bit out of our JV strong guard, and felt like, okay, we've got to put him in there. He's got to be the next guy up, and a little frustration out of a junior there, but he was willing and able. He understood why we were doing what we were doing, and but ultimately, he ended up finding another spot at center rather than strong guard. So now he's able to play 2 positions and kind of setting himself up for success next year, knowing that, our top 2 centers are going to be gone because they're seniors, and understanding it's going to be my last year. You hate to have kids that when they don't get their shot or what they want to just say, well, you know what, I'm done. This isn't worth it. And I think we've got a team that has too much pride and understands that only 11 guys can be on the field at one teams, and not that that's a downgrade. Okay, you're not on offense or defense, but we're going to use you on special teams, and that's a third of the game to bring something to the table special teams wise, and that gives them a little bit of push to, okay, hey, we got to go be special and get their opportunity and get to see them on the field and see what they can do, and just try to get as many guys involved as possible.
Definitely. So next week we have Colfax Mingo. We're going to Colfax Mingo, new facility, big facility,
Nice
facility. So if you're going to go to the game, that's one to go see for facility. Can't speak that the game's going to be a competitive one. I don't want to get the cat out of the bag too much, but we've seen the numbers they put on paper. This should be a walk in the park for SK. Going then, Eddyville Blakesburg is going to come to town following that. Next couple of weeks, we're going to have to focus on each game. But is this an opportunity to maybe heal some of that stuff up, whether it's a high ankle sprain on Ike or, Carson's shoulder or Ike's turf toe, if that's what it is? I don't want to – or Isaac, sorry. Is this the way you look at those, or are you going full out on these games?
Well, I think we'll reevaluate Monday with some of those guys, see how they feel. What can you do in practice this week, if anything? Which I feel like all of them. Football is a physical sport. You're typically gonna have things that don't feel great after games. Some things linger, but I think all those guys are willing and able to take care of themselves over the weekend, to put themselves back in position Monday to be able to do what they need to do. So I think we're preparing. It can kind of go either way. We talked last night. We're going to prepare for Colfax Mingo, but we've got to prepare ourselves for the game in 3 weeks, that first round playoff game. So, I don't feel like we have the ability to just say, okay, hey, we're going to shut you down all week, and we need to do what we can do, and if that's just not practicing but out just kind of running, cutting, doing those things to see how things feel, we've got to put a plan in place, but we're going to prepare for those for Colfax, but I think it is the time in the season where, okay, hey, we've gone through a 6-game stretch that has been really, really tough, you know, and we haven't had any injuries that really sidelined too many guys. You know, but we've got to be a little bit cautious and start thinking 3 weeks down the line, preparing ourselves 3 weeks down the line, and you know, if that means some guys maybe sit and don't get their normal reps, rest them, things like that. I think it'll be a case by case basis, but I think, you know, ultimately it's the end of the season. You don't want to go and take a couple weeks off with some of those guys and then just expect them to continue to play at a high level that third week. So I think there's going to be that fine line of how healthy are you, what can we get out of you without aggravating whatever your injury might be, along with just, you know, continuing to work, continuing to grind, and you know, it's we're not gonna go softer in practice by any means. I think at this point you got to continue to ratchet things up, and you know, ultimately I think that's why we are so successful. I think, you know, a lot of teams are always in just shells and you know, shoulder pads and not really, you know, getting after each other, and you know, we're banging, you know, and you know, there's been thoughts in my head like, God, are we going too hard? You know, like we don't want to get everybody dinged up. But ultimately, I feel like you start going softer, that's when bad things happen. You know, everybody knows you're going full tilt, you know, so you better be ready. And I think when your body's ready, when you're mentally ready for, you know, the collisions, the things like that, you know, injuries don't typically happen. So we're going to have to walk that fine line. What can you do? How healthy are you? What can we get out of you? And just continue to work.
Right. Well, I think we're going to move on to everyone's favorite segment, or at least my favorite
Aaron
segment.
asks.
So Aaron asks.
Let's bring it up.
Aaron asks.
Aaron asks on the sports section. Andy, what is Aaron asking?
Okay, Coach. Today's question is, going back through all your games for SK, if you could grab one loss and do something different to get a win, what game would that be?
This is an easy one. 2020 in the Dome against OABCIG and Cooper DeJean. I wish we could have played with 13 on defense to just try to eliminate his ability to throw the ball downfield and outrun everybody that's in the front end. You know, I mean, that's obviously you can't do that, but that's one game that I've always said that, you know, I wonder if we played with 13 on D, could we have stopped that guy? You know, I don't know if we could have or not, but, you know, I guess we'll never know because we're past that time.
Anytime you take a loss to a first-round NFL draft pick, that's a pretty good athlete. I know when I was there, I was watching him warm up, and I said, this is the smoothest athlete I think I've seen. That dude, just in warm-up, you could tell he was different, and he was different, and is different still to this day. I mean, he is on another level.
I mean, we were getting pressure on him, but, you know, and as a quarterback, I was never that fast, but I was able to evade quite a bit. So I loved when they were running full speed at me because you can see the angles and know where to get to. But with him, he was so fast that the D-line you had coming at him, the linebackers you were trying to, you know, scrape off the edges and get to him, he knew I am faster than all of you, and so I can keep my eyes downfield and still not focus on you guys coming to kill me, but you know and feel the presence and just, you know, here we go, we're booting back to the left. We booted right, nothing was there. Take off back to the left side of the field. By then, receivers are just running wherever they want, and he's just slinging that thing 60 yards downfield for touchdowns. So. You know, he's a special athlete, and it's cool for our guys to be able to say, hey, we played against this guy, and realistically, I'm not so sure we couldn't have been closer. There was 2 bad snaps that game, and not bad snaps, maybe 1 bad snap, 1 mishandled snap that put us in a long distance, you know, and forced us to punt when we had been moving the ball fairly well, and you know, but that just goes to show, you know, you've got to be perfect a lot of the time to be successful in those big games, and you know, that'll be a memory for the lifetime. That was a fun year, and first trip back to the Dome in a long while, and you know, obviously playing an NFL athlete, and just something you'll always remember.
Yeah, there was ironically, there was a young lady at the game last night on the SK side, and she was wearing a black and gold Hawkeye number 3 Cooper DeJean jersey. And I thought to myself, isn't that ironic that this gal is wearing the jersey of the dude that torched us, not that long ago, and I'm a huge Hawkeye fan, but it's still kind of,
Right.
We're SK, baby. That's not what we do here. We don't wear another dude's jersey like that. That's like wearing an OABCIG jersey. Although, like I say, I am a diehard Hawkeye fan, and I love what Cooper DeJean does. He's a dude. And I agree with you. 13, I think you could add 15 that day, and I don't think it's happening for us. So, you got to be a realist sometimes. And, that was a fun game to watch. Awesome experience. And I think you got the group to do it this year, too, if we can keep that health going. I thought you had a group last year that could do it. Obviously, losing Reed and losing Dylan early hurt. And that's the way I felt last night when I was watching some of these guys with the ankles and some of the shoulder stuff. I'm just holding my breath that we can hold this thing together for 2 more weeks and keep it going. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Just stay the course. And I think ultimately, the commitment to the weight room is instrumental in your ability to stay healthy. And there's obviously things that are, ankles and toes and things like that where if you get those, okay, we understand. But, a lot of the other injuries, your body blows, things like that, I think we're physically able to just stay with it and not let it affect us, and just got to keep trucking.
Amen, brother. Congrats on the win last night, and we'll keep it rolling.
All right, thank you. Go Cobras.
All right, that'll do it for our show today, the sports section here at Brothers Market in Sigourney. And we do thank Brothers Market for some... There we go. Savings are made simple. You can go to shopbrothersmarket.com. Digital coupons, earn rewards, deal of the week, shopping deals, and more. You can also download that app for Brothers Market. It is a smart way to shop. All right, that does it for this week's show from Brothers Market. We'll be back again next week starting at 8 a.m.